Will Smith is more than just an actor. He is a force of nature, a man who went from a West Philadelphia kid with a dream to one of the most recognizable stars in the entire world. His life story is not just about fame and fortune, it's about resilience, transformation, controversy, and a relentless pursuit of greatness. When we talk about Will Smith, we're talking about a man who has lived several lifetimes in one. From chart-topping rap songs in the 1980s to sitcom stardom in the 1990s, from box office domination in the 2000s to some of the most dramatic moments in modern pop culture. His journey is filled with triumphs, struggles, reinventions, and revelations. This is not just the story of a superstar. This is the story of a man who wanted to change the world, who rose to impossible heights, and who has faced both glory and infamy on the biggest stage of all. This is the story of Will Smith. Willard Carroll Smith, Jr. was born on September 25, 1968, in West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His father, Willard Carroll Smith, Sr., was a U.S. Air Force veteran and refrigeration engineer. His mother, Caroline Bright, worked for the Philadelphia School Board. Will grew up in a working-class home with 3 siblings. Even as a child, Will stood out. He was charming, talkative, and endlessly energetic. His classmates nicknamed him Prince because of his natural charisma and ability to talk his way out of trouble. He had a gift. He could make people laugh, he could charm teachers, and he could avoid punishment with a smile. This ability to win people over would become the foundation of his career. But Will's childhood was not without struggle. His father was strict, sometimes harsh, and instilled discipline that bordered on fear. Will later revealed in his memoir that he witnessed domestic violence at home, moments that scarred him and shaped his deep desire to protect and entertain others. Humor became his shield, his way of navigating pain. By his teenage years, Will discovered a new passion, rap music. Inspired by hip-hop's rise in the late 1970s and early 1980s, he began writing rhymes and performing at local parties. He teamed up with a young DJ, Jeffrey Towns, known as DJ Jazzy Jeff, and together they created a duo that would change both of their lives. Will and Jeff had instant chemistry. Jazzy Jeff was a master on the turntables, while Will had the charisma and lyrical wit to entertain crowds. Together, they became DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Their breakthrough came with the single Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble in 1986, which became a local hit. By 1987, they released their first album, Rock the House. But it was their 1988 album, He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper, that catapulted them to stardom. The album included the smash hit Parents Just Don't Understand, which won the very first Grammy Award for Best Rap Performance. Unlike many rappers of the time, Will's style was clean, playful, and family-friendly. He avoided profanity, choosing humor and storytelling instead. This made him stand out in the hip-hop scene, appealing to both young fans and parents. He was becoming a crossover star before anyone realized it. The duo toured worldwide, selling millions of records. Will Smith, barely out of his teens, was suddenly rich and famous. But he also made mistakes, spending recklessly, avoiding taxes, and nearly going broke. By the end of the 1980s, the IRS was knocking on his door, seizing cars and possessions. His rap career was on the verge of collapse. And then, fate intervened. In 1990, Will's fortunes changed forever. Music manager Benny Medina pitched an idea for a sitcom loosely based on his own life. NBC took a chance on Will Smith, a rapper with no acting experience, and cast him in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The show premiered in September 1990 and became an instant hit. Audiences loved the fish-out-of-water story of a street-smart kid from Philadelphia living with his wealthy relatives in Bel-Air. Will's natural charisma, comedic timing, and improvisational skills made him the heart of the show. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ran for 6 seasons and became a cultural phenomenon. It launched Will into the mainstream, making him a household name. The show also gave us one of the most iconic theme songs in television history, performed by Will himself. But beyond the comedy, the show tackled serious issues: race, class, family, and identity. One episode in particular, where Will's estranged father returns and then abandons him again, remains one of the most emotional moments in sitcom history. Will's raw performance in that scene wasn't just acting, it was drawing from his own pain. By the time the show ended in 1996, Will Smith was no longer just a rapper or a sitcom star. He was ready for something bigger. Hollywood was calling. Will's transition to movies began with small roles in films like Where the Day Takes You, 1992, and 6 Degrees of Separation, 1993. In 6 Degrees, he shocked critics by playing a young con artist who claims to be the son of Sidney Poitier. It was a dramatic, nuanced role that proved he could act. Critics began to take him seriously. But it was Bad Boys, 1995, directed by Michael Bay and co-starring Martin Lawrence, that changed everything. The buddy cop action comedy was a box office hit and cemented Will Smith as a legitimate movie star. Audiences loved his charm, his one-liners, and his ability to carry action sequences with the same ease as comedy. Then came Independence Day, 1996. As Captain Stephen Hiller, Will delivered one of the most iconic performances in blockbuster history. His charisma, swagger, and humor turned a sci-fi disaster movie into a cultural event. Independence Day became the highest-grossing film of the year, and Will Smith became the face of summer blockbusters. By 1997, Men in Black pushed him even further into superstardom. Starring alongside Tommy Lee Jones, Will brought energy and humor to the role of Agent J, balancing Jones's stoicism with his own comedic brilliance. The film grossed over $500 million worldwide and spawned sequels that would keep Will at the forefront of Hollywood for years. In just a few years, Will Smith had gone from sitcom star to one of the most bankable actors in the world. But he wasn't done yet. Even as his film career exploded, Will refused to leave music behind. In 1997, he released his debut solo album, Big Willie Style. It included hits like Gettin' Jiggy With It and Men in Black, both of which became global anthems. The album went multi-platinum, proving that Will could dominate both Hollywood and the music charts simultaneously. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Will Smith was everywhere. He starred in Enemy of the State, 1998, showing off his dramatic chops in a techno thriller alongside Gene Hackman. He returned for Men in Black 2, 2002, released Wild Wild West, 1999, and kept dropping chart-topping singles. At this point, Will Smith was not just a star, he was an empire. His movies were blockbusters. His songs were party anthems. His charm made him beloved around the world. Few entertainers had ever achieved this level of crossover success. But with greater fame came greater pressure. Will was determined to stay on top, to never lose the crown he had worked so hard to claim. The next chapter of his life would bring even higher highs, and some of the lowest lows he would ever face. By the early 2000s, Will Smith had achieved something extraordinary. He was not just a movie star, he was the movie star. His films routinely topped the box office, and his name alone could carry a project. Ali, 2001, was a turning point. Will transformed himself to play Muhammad Ali, bulking up, studying the champ's mannerisms, and capturing his spirit. The performance earned him his first Academy Award nomination. Critics who once dismissed him as just a charming entertainer now recognized him as a serious actor. The 2000s became a golden era. Men in Black 2, 2002, Bad Boys 2, 2003, and I, Robot, 2004, kept him firmly in the blockbuster lane. Then came Hitch, 2005, where he played a smooth dating consultant, charming audiences worldwide in one of the most successful romantic comedies of all time. In 2006, The Pursuit of Happyness showed a different side of Will. Starring alongside his real-life son Jaden, he told the story of Chris Gardner, a struggling single father chasing a better life. The performance was raw, emotional, and deeply moving, earning Will another Oscar nomination. For many, it was his finest performance. Then came I Am Legend, 2007, where Will carried almost the entire film alone as one of the last survivors of a viral apocalypse. His ability to hold the screen by himself cemented his place as one of the greatest leading men of his generation. By this point, Will Smith was more than a star. He was a brand, a global cultural force. But even the brightest stars faced challenges. In the late 2000s, some of Will's projects stumbled. Hancock, 2008, was a hit but polarizing. 7 Pounds, 2008, was ambitious but left critics divided. And after a brief hiatus, his return in After Earth, 2013, co-starring Jaden, was widely panned. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, Will Smith's golden touch seemed to falter. Behind the scenes, Will was wrestling with questions about fame, family, and identity. He had built an empire, but wondered what it was costing him. His marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith, often under public scrutiny, became a topic of endless media speculation. Their openness about struggles and entanglements made headlines, blurring the line between private life and public persona. And yet, Will never stopped working, never stopped reinventing himself. He returned to music with occasional performances, experimented with social media, and became one of the first Hollywood A-listers to embrace YouTube, sharing vlogs, fitness journeys, and inspirational content. Suddenly, a new generation discovered Will Smith not as a rapper or actor, but as a digital creator. Will's resilience paid off. In 2015, he starred in Concussion, playing Dr. Bennett Omalu, the real-life physician who uncovered the dangers of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, in football players. His performance earned praise, though the film itself struggled at the box office. Then came Aladdin, 2019, where Will took on the iconic role of the genie. Many fans were skeptical. How could anyone follow Robin Williams? But Will brought his own flavor, blending music, humor, and swagger. The film grossed over $1 billion worldwide, reminding audiences of his star power. But the pinnacle came in 2021 with King Richard. Playing Richard Williams, the father of tennis legends Venus and Serena, Will delivered a powerful, layered performance. The role earned him widespread acclaim, culminating in the Academy Award for Best Actor in 2022. It was the crowning achievement of his career, proof that decades of hard work had made him not just a star, but a respected artist. Yet that night would also become one of the most controversial moments in Hollywood history. At the 2022 Oscars, moments before winning the biggest award of his career, Will Smith shocked the world. When comedian Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head, Will walked onto the stage and slapped him. The audience was stunned. Millions watching around the globe couldn't believe what they had just seen. The incident sparked endless debates. Was it justified? Was it career-ending? Could Will recover? For weeks, headlines, talk shows, and social media dissected the slap from every angle. Will publicly apologized, both to Chris Rock and to the Academy. He later described the moment as a breaking point, a culmination of years of pressure, emotions, and personal struggles. The Academy banned him from attending the Oscars for 10 years, even as his performance in King Richard was still being celebrated. It was a paradox. Will had reached the pinnacle of his career and the nadir of his public reputation in the same night. The story of Will Smith is still being written. He remains one of the most recognizable entertainers in the world. His films, music, and television work have shaped culture for over 3 decades. He has inspired generations with his charisma, his work ethic, and his relentless pursuit of excellence. But his legacy is complicated. He is both the Fresh Prince who made us laugh, the action hero who saved the world, the Oscar-winning actor who moved us, and the man whose very human flaws played out in front of billions. For Will Smith, perhaps the greatest lesson is that even legends stumble. What matters is how they rise, how they learn, how they continue to create. And Will Smith is not finished. He continues to work on new projects, connect with fans worldwide, and share his journey, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Will Smith once said, "If you're not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time." That philosophy has guided his career, his performances, and his public life. From the streets of West Philadelphia to the heights of Hollywood, from music stages to Oscar podiums, his journey is one of resilience, transformation, and undeniable impact. This has been the story of Will Smith, a story of laughter, music, triumph, controversy, and legacy. A story still unfolding, still inspiring, and still reminding us that greatness is never a straight line. You've just listened to another story from Story Vault, a place where lives, legends, and moments are kept alive. If this journey spoke to you, if it made you think, smile, or see the world a little differently, do me a favor. Tap that like button and subscribe to the channel. Because here at Story Vault, there's always another story waiting to be told. And I'd love to share it with you. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive. And I'll see you in the next story.